Hi everyone, it's James here from Pro Tools Expert, back with another gear review. This time I've managed to get my greasy mitts on the new Slate Digital VTC, the Virtual Tube Collection. Now to us Brits, that's the VVC, the Virtual Valve Collection, but let's not get too far down the semantics road right now. So, VTC, what is it? It's 3 new modules for the Slate Virtual Mix Rack. And these are they, the Hollywood, the London and the New York. Now, as the T, or the V, might suggest, tubes, or valves, we know that valves, tubes, call them what you will, add loveliness, add warmth, add saturation to our signals. Any analogue hardware that's got valves in it, we generally like it, and it's generally more expensive. So what the team at Slate have done is collected up a load of that kind of sought-after valve gear, modelled it, and come up with these 3 emulations. Now, they are very, very subtle. You can, of course, drive them to ridiculous levels. I'm not going to do that. That's just not my bag. But they are very subtle and they're very, very lovely. So what I've done is with the band, we've put a track together. You may recognise the groove, but I'm not going to advertise that right now. And I'm going to show you how I've been using the VTC on this particular track. And we will start with the bass drum. So over here on the kick drum inside mic channel, I'm using a copy of the FGN. Now we all know what that EQ is modelled on, and that's driving into the London VTC module. Now, each of the modules has exactly the same controls. We have a switch between preamp and console, which is basically, if you're using it in preamp mode, it's working as if you've got the valves on your mixer channels. In console mode, it's acting more like a summing mixer. So at the moment we're in preamp mode. I've got normal and I've got push. Now push just takes things to the next level. It beefs things up a bit. It just drives it a little bit harder. We then have a saturation knob and I can go all the way from 1 all the way up to 10. I'm going to leave it about there. We have a high pass filter, an output control and a mix sort of blend knob. Now if I play this track back and I just solo the bass drum and take this out of the loop. And kick it in. Of course, I can drive all the way through distortion. Or I can have it just breaking up and pull the mix back a little bit. I think I can go back to where I was because I quite like that. Now if I push, it just beefs things up a bit more. Too much. No, in this case I quite like that. Outside bass drum mic, again, the FGN. And I'm saturating a little bit more on the outside. 2 kick drums together, working really nicely. Now on the snare drum, again I'm going for that kind of British sound with the London VTC module, and I've really juiced up the saturation. I'm pushing it hard, I'm in preamp mode, I'm going fairly high on the mix knob, 64%. Have a listen to this. Before, after. Loving that on snare drum, it fits in really nicely. On the hi-hats, I've gone with Revival just to bring some of that top end out, and again, London, saturating a tiny bit, so you can hear that. It's normally quite hard to warm up hi-hats, but this is doing a really nice job of it. And again, I've gone for a pretty similar setup on the overheads. Now, where things get a bit different is on the bass channel. And this time I'm using the Hollywood VTC module. Now, the Hollywood, I think, is more of that kind of LA shiny, I'm not going to call it scooped mid, but it's definitely got this nice shiny top end and a nice warm bottom end. So let's play that back for you. Now I've gone for that kind of real vintage kind of soul bass sound. So again, I'm driving it quite hard, but I'm pulling back with the mix knob. There's full tilt. Yeah, I really like that. So on the guitars, I've gone pretty hardcore. We've got the FGS. Now, we all know what that EQ is supposed to sound like, and I'm using the New York module. Now, the New York module is a bit more aggressive, like the City, a bit more raw, like the City, and just a bit more in your face, very much like the City. I'm driving the saturation fairly hard in normal mode. I think I'm doing the same on the other channel. Let's put one into push, see what happens. That's with no New York module. Sounds really, really killer. I really like this one. Much better, I think, for the stuff that actually naturally breaks up. Really, really nice. Okay, so moving on to my master bus, my 2 bus, call it what you will. In this case, I've got all 3 modules available to me. So if I just take them all out. It's a fairly nice mix. Now, as I kick in the VTC modules, it really does transform the mix. Here we go. Hollywood first. Out. Now, of course, it's worth noting at this stage we're in console mode. We're using this as a summing, kind of valve summing loveliness box. I don't think there is actually a hardware equivalent of these modules. They're basically the best bits of some of the best valve gear and best valve consoles you've ever used. Let's kick over to the London module this time. We'll start with it in, and then we'll take it out. Again, all the settings are slightly different. I'm pushing this time. I love what the London module's doing. It's just giving me more of that kind of 70s retro vibe. I know I'm pinning the meter. I don't care. It sounds great. Let's kick the New York in, which was the one I was using all the way through the demo. Again, console mode. We're not pushing. Saturation's very high. In. Out. So there you go, the VTC, the Virtual Tube Collection from Slate Digital. I love these things. For me, they work best on your mix bus or on your drum bus or on a group bus, if you like. But they are really, really nice when you use them on the individual channels. But say, for me, it's one for your 2 bus, just to beef up your mix, make it all sit, glue it together, do that kind of magic that some bus compressors and some kind of valve gear does in the real world. So there you go, hope you enjoyed that. My name's James Ivey, and I'll see you again soon for some more Gear Talk.